Okay, we had a vacuum leak, and this will make a kind of a good little show of the difference between vacuum and pressure. So this was failing vacuum. I have my pumps on the vacuum, and it could not drop below 29.9, and it would not go into microns at all. As soon as I shut off the vacuum port and both the pumps, the vacuum would start dropping and it'd get down to about 22 really rapidly within like 1 minute. So you'd go, okay, that's so big. You would be able to find it really easy with bubbles if you pressurized it, or the ultrasonic leak detector. I said I'm going to skip getting my ultrasonic leak detector and just go right to bubbles because I have readily available nitrogen. So I pressured up the system. I hit both the fittings, you know, upper and lower, with bubble leak detectant from underneath and everything like that. No bubbles. But I thought this would kind of make a good training video too, because one thing I always tell, and this is something my dad told me, he says, every compressor you get, spin it with your hand. Spin it with your hand when it's full of refrigerant. Spin it with your hand when it's at 0. Spin it with your hand when it's under negative, under vacuum, but be careful, because some of the shaft seals don't like to be touched and disturbed when it's under vacuum and go leak, and then you'll have to repressurize the system to push the seal back out to reseat it, spin it while it's under pressure, and then it'll hold vacuum again. I just gave you a little secret that's not in books, and most of your instructors don't even know. So as you can see, the high and low side are both at 72 psi. I have both valves off. So now I'm going to spin this by hand. Let's get up under here. Let's get my hand. So now I'm spinning this by hand. And some of these compressors feel, I mean, I could feel this one pump up. I could barely turn it. This thing like went right into pressure within the first quarter spin. I could barely move it. At first movement, it moved easy. It got about a quarter of the way. I could barely. 67, 78. That was just by a few little, they were like 16th or 1/8 of a turn at a time. That's all I could do when I was down there with my fingers. And you can see it's slowly stabilizing, but we still have that vacuum leak. So now let's see what happens under vacuum. I'm going to release the nitrogen. So see, I got that open. Let's just do it out the high side. I go with the flow. Let me disconnect it here. Okay, we're out. Release the nitrogen slowly. We don't want to take oil out with us. And safety too. You don't want to just blast and leave a hose, because a hose could whip around and hit you in the face and put your eye out, or break or scratch your nice safety glasses. Okay, so you know we're at 0 now, so let me shut that off. Alright, since I have nitrogen in the system, do a nice sweep. So let's hook up my Mammoth big connector here, which really easy to tell this is my, no one else does crazy shit like this. Okay. Okay, so we're on vacuum. Open up the vacuum. I'm drawing off the low side. You can see the high side is following as it goes through the expansion valve. So all the air is going through the condenser, the nitrogen, I have nitrogen in it, through the condenser, through the dryer, up the liquid line, being sucked through the expansion valve, through the evaporator, and back to the low side, down the suction line, through the low side hose, coming through the hose, and traveling to the vacuum pump. Okay, we're at that 29.9 there. I'm going to open up the other side. It's not drawing down there. It still feels like it's having an issue. So, sometimes front shaft seals could leak, but is it still his seal? So I'm going to have to research that. Now let me turn off the vacuum and show you. I have the high side open, I have the low side open. Now I'm closing off the vacuum source. You see it rapidly dropping. So let's do something else. Hey, who knows? Maybe it's my hoses. Maybe it's my gauges. Let's find out. Maybe something happened after I installed them. I pre-checked them. I was able to go all the way down to below 100 microns when I had this vacuum pump hooked up. Okay, so now I backed out both valves. As you can see, we're easily climbing down there. Let me kill the vacuum source and then we'll pop back up. And if I was willing to sit here for a few minutes, you'd see as it gets towards 1,000, it'll slow down. As it gets down close to 2,000 or so, it'll slow down even more. But this is not inches. This is not tenths of inches. This is way down there in the micron level. So this is not what I'm looking for. And if you're not used to looking at a micron gauge, you can tell the difference between hundredths of a micron and tens of microns, the difference between tenths of a PSI falling down. This is not a leak. This is inside my hoses right now. We're testing this hose, we're testing this hose, that fitting, everything here in my manifold. So I know that's not an issue. So let's open back up the vacuum. See, goes down fast. Now I'm going to open it up to the system. Boom, we dropped. That's how far we dropped now. We're already down to 17. So in this situation, actually, oh, my ultrasonic leak detector is sitting on my desk in my office on a charger, or no, battery. I took it out to change the battery, but I didn't put a battery in it. And I cleaned out my car. It's not in there. So let's waste some time, because I know I'm not going to find this under pressure. It doesn't leak. It leaks under vacuum. And my dumbass didn't put my ultrasonic leak detector back in my vehicle. So now I have to do it the old slow way. Refrigerant. Okay, let's see what happens. Be back on the second video. Oh, let me predict something. If I put a little bit of refrigerant in here, let's say 3 ounces, just enough to bring the pressure up farther than the switch so it makes contact to allow the compressor to come on, and then I recover that refrigerant out, and then the vacuum seals, shaft seal. All right, let's go see what happens.